In the rain-soaked streets of Seattle, where towering tech companies cast long shadows over tent cities, an extraordinary tale of destiny unfolds. Sarah, a homeless woman with mysterious memories of a childhood she can't fully recall, survives by her wits in the city's unforgiving streets. When fate puts her in the path of tech billionaire Marcus Chun during a life-or-death situation, neither realizes their encounter will unravel a decades-old family secret. Through a series of incredible events, hidden truths, and shocking discoveries, their lives become intertwined in ways they never imagined possible. The morning starts like any other for Sarah Thompson. At 34, she's learned to navigate Seattle's homeless community with a mix of street smarts and kindness. Despite her circumstances, there's something different about her. The way she carries herself, her articulate speech, and most notably, the worn-out locket she never parts with, containing a faded photograph of two children. Several blocks away, in the gleaming headquarters of Chen Innovations, Marcus Chen prepares for another board meeting. At 37, he's transformed the startup into a multi-billion-dollar tech empire. Yet, despite his success, he's haunted by childhood memories, particularly of the sister he lost during a chaotic night 25 years ago when their parents' car crashed off a bridge. The paths of these two souls converge on a rainy Tuesday evening. Marcus, walking alone after a late meeting, takes a shortcut through Pioneer Square. Two armed men emerge from the shadows, demanding his wallet and phone. As Marcus reaches for his pocket, one attacker gets trigger-happy. Sarah, seeking shelter nearby, witnesses the scene. Without hesitation, she launches herself at the armed man, knocking him off balance. The gun fires into the air, drawing attention. The attackers flee, leaving Marcus stunned and Sarah bleeding from a cut on her forehead where she hit the pavement. As Marcus helps her up, the streetlight catches her locket, identical to the one he keeps in his office desk. Their eyes meet, and for a moment, time stands still. "Let me help you," Marcus insists, noticing Sarah's injury. Despite her initial reluctance, he convinces her to let his private doctor examine her at his nearby penthouse. As they ride the elevator, Sarah clutches her locket nervously, a habit Marcus finds oddly familiar. In the penthouse, Dr. Reynolds tends to Sarah's wound while Marcus observes from across the room. Something about her mannerisms captivates him. The way she taps her fingers in sequence when anxious, just like his lost sister used to do. "The locket," he finally says, his voice barely above a whisper. "Where did you get it?" Sarah's hand instinctively moves to protect it. "I've had it since I can remember. After the accident, it was one of the few things I had left." "Accident?" Marcus steps closer, his heart racing. "I was 9. There was water, so much water." Sarah's voice trembles. "I woke up in a hospital with no memory of my family, just this locket and a head injury that took months to heal." Marcus's hands shake as he reaches for his desk drawer, pulling out an identical locket. The room grows silent, except for the rain pattering against the windows. Both lockets, when opened side by side, reveal two halves of the same photograph. A boy and a girl standing in front of the Space Needle, circa 1997. "Sarah," Marcus breathes, I think you're my sister." Just as the gravity of their potential connection sinks in, Marcus's phone buzzes urgently. His security team has run a background check on Sarah, standard protocol for anyone entering his penthouse. What they've uncovered is shocking. "Sir," the message reads, facial recognition matched her to 3 different identities in the past decade. She's been involved in multiple high-profile confidence schemes targeting wealthy individuals. Marcus's world spins. He glances at Sarah, who's still examining the lockets with tears in her eyes. Could this all be an elaborate con? The timing of her rescue, the identical locket, the convenient memory loss. It seems too perfect. Meanwhile, Sarah notices his change in demeanor. "What's wrong?" she asks, but before he can respond, she spots the security report on his tablet. Her face pales. "I can explain," she starts, but Marcus cuts her off. Was this all a setup? The rescue? The locket? His voice cracks with anger and disappointment. Sarah stands, backing away. No, you don't understand. Those identities, they're not what you think. I've been searching for something, someone. She pauses, pulling out a worn journal from her backpack. I've been looking for you, Marcus, for years. Those different names? They were the only way I could get close to people who might know about our family's past. But every lead went cold. Before she can finish, the penthouse elevator chimes. Two men in black suits step out, but they're not Marcus's security team. Hello, children, one says ominously. Your parents send their regards. Marcus and Sarah freeze, their personal confrontation forgotten. The men's words hang in the air like a toxic cloud. Parents? Marcus whispers. But they died in the crash. Sarah grabs Marcus's arm instinctively, her street survival instinct screaming that something is terribly wrong. The taller intruder pulls out a badge. Federal Witness Protection Program. Your parents didn't die in that crash. They were placed in protective custody. The crash was staged. Marcus's security system suddenly blares to life. Red lights flash as multiple breach alerts trigger throughout the building. On the security screens, armed men in tactical gear are moving up through the stairwells. We need to move you both. Now. The second agent draws his weapon. Your parents' testimony against the Chun-Reed technology cartel is about to break open the biggest corporate espionage case in history. Their cover's been blown. Sarah's journal falls open, revealing newspaper clippings about the Chun-Reed scandal, the very case she'd been trying to crack for years as an underground investigator. Her multiple identities weren't cons. They were covers for her investigation into her past. The people coming up those stairs? The first agent checks his tactical tablet. They're not here to reunite the family. The cartel found out about you both. They're here to tie up loose ends. Through the penthouse windows, a helicopter searchlight sweeps across the Seattle skyline, heading their way. Marcus and Sarah share a look. Decades of separation dissolve in an instant. They're no longer the billionaire and the homeless woman. They're brother and sister, and they're in this together. The panic room, Marcus says suddenly, rushing to his private office. He places his hand on a seemingly normal wall panel, revealing a hidden entrance. But before they can reach it, the power cuts out, plunging the penthouse into darkness. They're jamming our communications, one agent warns. Night vision goggles already in place. Standard cartel tactics. Sarah's street survival skills kick in. The service elevator shaft, she suggests quickly. I've mapped every building's maintenance access in this district. Old habits from living rough. An explosion rocks the floor below them. The agents exchange worried looks. They're using breaching charges. We have maybe 3 minutes. Marcus grabs his laptop and a small safe from his desk. Everything I've built, all my success. It was based on modified versions of stolen tech, wasn't it? Tech that our parents were trying to protect. Your sister figured it out, the taller agent confirms. That's why she's been investigating under different identities. The cartel's been watching you both, waiting to see if you'd reconnect. Sarah pulls out a USB drive from her warm boots. I didn't just investigate Marcus. I gathered evidence. Enough to expose everything. But I needed access to your servers to verify the final pieces. Another explosion, closer this time. Through the window, they spot 3 more helicopters approaching, these without lights. The cartel's cleanup crew. Time to go, Sarah says, her voice steady. Ready to trust your homeless sister with your life, big brother? As they race toward the service elevator, Sarah reveals her true expertise. Her fingers fly across Marcus's laptop, accessing building schematics she's memorized over years of surveillance. The cartel doesn't know about the old Prohibition-era tunnels beneath the building, she explains. They connect to the underground city. Marcus watches in awe as his sister's street persona falls away, revealing a brilliant strategist. All those years living homeless. Was my cover? she finishes. Best way to watch the cartel's movements. No one notices the homeless. The agents secure the elevator doors as gunfire erupts in the hallway. Sarah pulls out a small device from her ragged coat. MP disruptor. It'll buy us time by killing their night vision. Where did you get? Marcus starts. I built it. Mom and Dad weren't the only tech geniuses in the family. Suddenly, Marcus's laptop pings. His eyes widen at the screen. Sarah, these files you're decrypting. They're showing money trails to half the tech CEOs in Seattle. The cartel isn't just stealing tech. They're controlling the entire industry. She nods. And our parents' testimony would expose everyone involved. The elevator groans as someone above starts cutting through the cables. Sarah pulls out her worn journal and tears out a page, revealing a microchip hidden in the binding. 25 years of evidence, she says. Ready for the biggest hack of your life? Before Marcus can respond, water starts flooding in from below. The cartel is flooding the shaft to trap them. They're hurting us, one agent shouts over the rising water. The tunnels below will be flooded in minutes. Sarah's eyes light up with recognition. That's exactly what happened the night of the crash. They tried to drown us then too. Marcus connects the dots. The bridge accident. It wasn't an accident at all. Working together, Sarah and Marcus connect the microchip to his laptop. Their fingers move in perfect sync, coding and decrypting, a dance of digital expertise that proves their shared DNA of the water reaches their waists. Upload starting, Marcus announces, sending the evidence to every major news outlet and federal agency simultaneously. Suddenly, a familiar voice crackles through the elevator's emergency speaker. My dear children, stop this foolishness. The voice belongs to James Reed, CEO of Reed Technologies and the cartel's leader. Your parents chose their fate. Don't make their mistake. Sarah's hands freeze over the keyboard. That voice. I hear it in my nightmares. He was there that night, Marcus realizes. He watched us crash into the water. The agents prime their weapons as sounds of cutting metal intensify above them. The water continues rising. 90 seconds to upload completion, Marcus announces. Sarah pulls out one last surprise, a small rebreather device. I've got only one. It's how I survived last time. How did you? Mom slipped it to me right before the crash. She knew what was coming. Sarah looks at her brother. But this time, I'm not leaving you behind. The water reaches their chests as multiple breaching points are cut into the elevator shaft. Through the gaps, they glimpse laser sights sweeping through the darkness. The cartel's hit team is closing in. 60 seconds to upload, Marcus calls out, holding the laptop above the rising water. Sarah activates her EMP device, plunging their attackers into darkness. But the victory is short-lived as the water continues its relentless rise. There's something else, Sarah reveals, her voice urgent. The night of the crash, I saw Mom input a code into her locket. I could never figure out what it was for, but wait, Marcus interrupts, his eyes wide. My locket has a keypad too. I always thought it was decorative. He pulls out his half of the matching set. The agents position themselves at the breach points, buying them time. Whatever you're going to do it fast. Working together, they combine their lockets. The tiny keypads illuminate, revealing a complex interface. It's a quantum encryption key, Marcus realizes. The ultimate backdoor into the cartel's entire network. Mom and Dad split it between us, Sarah says. They knew we'd find each other eventually. The water reaches their necks. The upload stands at 85%. Above them, the elevator cables finally snap with a deafening twang. Time to make a choice, Sarah says, holding up the single rebreather. The evidence or our lives. Marcus looks at his sister, then at the laptop. In the distance, they hear Reed's helicopter approaching. Neither, Marcus declares, grabbing both lockets. We choose justice. He connects the quantum key to his laptop just as the elevator car begins its deadly plunge. Sarah understands instantly. Together, they input the combined code their parents left them. The effect is immediate and devastating. Every system connected to the cartel's network begins to self-destruct. The agents grab them as the elevator car breaks free. Hold on. They shoot grappling lines through the breach points, pulling them all to safety on a maintenance ledge as the car crashes into the flooded shaft below. Through the building's windows, they watch as chaos erupts across Seattle's skyline. Emergency lights flash in every major tech headquarters. Alarms blare. Reed's helicopter spirals out of control, its systems compromised by the quantum virus they just unleashed. Mom and Dad didn't just give us evidence. Sarah realizes, water dripping from her hair. They gave us a kill switch for the entire cartel's infrastructure. Marcus's laptop pings, upload complete. On every digital billboard in the city, the evidence begins to play. Security footage, financial records, and proof of the cartel's crimes flash across Seattle's skyline. Reed's voice comes through their earpieces one last time. You have no idea what you've done. Your parents died for this secret. No, a new voice interrupts. A woman's voice, one that makes both Sarah and Marcus freeze. We didn't die at all. Through the chaos, a black SUV screeches to a halt in front of the building. Two figures emerge from the back seat. The figures move through the building's lobby with purpose. A man and woman in their early 60s. Their faces hauntingly familiar to both Sarah and Marcus. 25 years older, but unmistakable. Mom? Dad? Sarah whispers, her voice catching. The federal agents receive confirmation through their earpieces and nod. Your parents' testimony just went live across all federal channels. The cartel's done. Suddenly, Reed's helicopter stabilizes. He's overridden the quantum virus. It turns sharply, its weapon systems targeting the building. But he's not aiming at Sarah and Marcus anymore. He's aiming at their parents in the lobby. No, Marcus shouts. Not again. Sarah grabs her brother's arm. The building's mainframe, your servers. If we overload them, Marcus understands immediately. Together, they race through the emergency stairs, the fingers flying over his laptop. They're writing code on the fly, pushing every server in the building to its limit. Their parents are trapped in the lobby as Reed's helicopter hovers outside, its weapons locked on target. The quantum virus may have failed, but Sarah and Marcus have one last card to play. Remember when we were kids, Sarah says as they type, and you taught me that sometimes the best defense is a power surge, Marcus finishes, hitting the final key. Every server in the building overloads simultaneously, creating an electromagnetic pulse that ripples outward. Reed's helicopter goes dark, its systems fried completely. It spins away, disappearing behind neighboring buildings as emergency sirens wail. The siblings race down the final flight of stairs as their parents look up. The lobby becomes a battlefield of emotions and revelations. As Sarah and Marcus rush toward their parents, Reed's men breach through multiple entry points. The family reunion becomes a desperate fight for survival. Down, their father shouts, showing surprising agility as he pulls both children behind a security desk. Their mother produces a tablet, her fingers moving with the same inherited speed her children displayed earlier. The quantum key wasn't just a kill switch, their mother explains while hacking the building's security systems. It was a beacon. We've been tracking you both, waiting for the right moment when you'd find each other. All these years, Marcus's voice breaks. We thought you were dead. We had to protect you, their father responds, his eyes filled with tears. The cartel wasn't just stealing tech. They were developing something dangerous. Something that could control every network device on the planet. Sarah pulls out her journal. The algorithm. That's what I discovered. They're not just trying to control the tech industry. They want to control everything, their mother finishes. Banking, security systems, military networks, total digital dominance. Gunfire erupts through the lobby. The federal agents engage Reed's men in a fierce firefight, but they're outnumbered. Through the windows, they see Reed emerging from his crashed helicopter, limping but alive, carrying a device that pulses with an ominous blue light. The master control module, their father explains. Everything we've worked for, everything we've sacrificed. It was to prevent that device from ever being activated. Marcus looks at his sister, then his parents. Well, we're together now. And I think between the four of us, we have enough combined genius to end this, Sarah finishes. Their mother smiles proudly. The Chum family specialty, impossible problems. Reed's voice booms through the lobby speakers. How touching. The family reunion I've been waiting for. All the loose ends, finally in one place. The blue device in his hands pulses stronger, and every screen in the lobby flickers to life. The power grid throughout Seattle begins to fluctuate. He's starting the sequence, their father warns. Once that device fully activates, every digital system on Earth will be under his control, their mother concludes. Sarah and Marcus share a determined look. Then, we have about 60 seconds to show him what this family can really do. The Chun family springs into action with synchronized precision. Marcus and Sarah flank opposite sides of the lobby, their laptops creating a crossfire of counter-algorithms. Their parents work in tandem, their decades of experience flowing through their fingertips as they attack Reed's device from multiple digital angles. Your parents couldn't stop me 25 years ago, Reed taunts, the blue device pulsing stronger. What makes you think their children can? Because, Sarah calls out, her voice strong. They didn't have us working together then. Marcus's expertise in modern systems combines perfectly with Sarah's underground hacking skills. Their parents' original code merges with their children's innovations, creating something entirely new. The quantum key, their mother shouts over the firefight. It's not just a key, it's your combined DNA signatures. That's why we split it between you. Reed's device begins to spark as it battles against the family's combined assault. The windows of the lobby shatter as power surges ripple through the city. The firefight intensifies, but the federal agents are slowly gaining the upper hand. Impossible, Reed staggers, watching his life's work being torn apart by the family he tried to destroy. The algorithm is perfect. No, Marcus stands, helping Sarah to her feet. Family is perfect. Their father calls out, "Kids, the final sequence, just like when you were young." In a flash of memory, both Sarah and Marcus remember their childhood coding game, finishing each other's programs, creating solutions together. Their fingers fly across their keyboards in perfect harmony, executing a sequence that could only come from siblings who think as one. The blue device screams with electronic agony as their combined attack overwhelms it. Reed makes one last desperate lunge, but their mother, proving she's not just a programmer, delivers a perfect martial arts strike that sends him crashing to the ground. "That's for separating my children," she says, as federal agents swarm in to make the arrest. The device sputters and dies, its threat neutralized forever. Outside, the city's power grid stabilizes. On every screen in the lobby, the evidence of Reed's crimes continues to play, ensuring there's no escape from justice this time. Sarah and Marcus turn to their parents, tears streaming down their faces. 25 years of separation end in a four-way embrace that makes even the hardened federal agents turn away with misty eyes. 1 month later, the Chun family stands atop Marcus's penthouse, watching the sunset over Seattle. The city has changed. The cartel's exposure led to a complete restructuring of the tech industry, with Chun Innovations leading the way in ethical technology development. Sarah, no longer homeless, has become the head of cybersecurity for her brother's company. Her years of street survival and investigation have transformed into a revolutionary security system that protects vulnerable populations. The underground city she once called home is being transformed into a technology education center for the homeless. Their parents, finally free from witness protection, have moved into the penthouse's guest wing, making up for lost time by teaching their children the family's legacy of using technology for good. "You know," Marcus says, putting an arm around his sister, "I always felt something was missing. even at my most successful moments. Sarah nods, touching her locket, now a symbol of reunion rather than loss. We were incomplete, but now we're whole. Their mother finishes, joining them with their father. The family's story becomes a beacon of hope throughout Seattle. The homeless woman who saved a billionaire didn't just find her brother. She helped expose corruption, reunited a family, and proved that true wealth lies in the connections we share. If this story touched your heart, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and give us a rating from 1 to 10 in the comments below. Let us know where you're watching from. We'd love to hear how this tale of family, redemption, and justice resonated with you. Remember, sometimes our greatest challenges lead us back to where we belong.